Hello, it's Tuesday at noon. I'm here again. We'll be talking with Allison from Brobe. I'm excited to share her story and tell you a little bit about her products for those of you who don't know. She just launched, hi Peter, taking it right from text, hi Bree, right here. I met Allison very recently. She'll be on any moment, and she's going to tell us, here we are, right on time. Allison, if you can request to join, oh, there you are. Awesome. Hopefully this is going to work. It's always so good when it does. Yes! Hello, it's so good to see you.
Hi.
Thanks so much for making the time to talk today.
Of course. I am happy to talk to you. How are you?
Good. I was just saying that we connected pretty recently, and that I've sent so many people your website even in the last month, like not just like, unfortunately, a whole handful of people that I know have been diagnosed with different kinds of cancers over the last month. But like the story about the robe you make for children is like, it's so moving. I've sent the video to a handful of people, and it just like, you can't help but cry. It's such a simple and beautiful thing that you did. So first of all, thank you. And I just feel really lucky to know you, and your story is so inspiring. I appreciate you as like an entrepreneur and as a woman, and would love for you to just quickly do a little intro and share about yourself.
Sure. My name is Allison Schickel. I am CEO and designer of Brobe International. Started my company January of 2012. That's whenever we officially launched. Started with just one product that I was just going to see if it would actually, work. And it was, it's our flagship product, the recovery robe. And the reason why I created it was a friend of mine, Wendy, had, at 42, she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And she had 2 small girls at home at the time. And she had 18 months of chemo, followed by a double mastectomy, followed by now it's been 11 surgeries over the course of 11 years. And that is not typical, but it is typical, after I've been in the business now, it is typical for women to have anywhere between, 2 and 4 surgeries after their initial mastectomy. So, but the fact that she's had 11 is pretty crazy, but
Yeah.
she's doing great. So anyways, she would explain to me kind of the emotional and physical side effects that would come along having to carry around these JP drains.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about. And so she just couldn't find anything that was functional or flattering. And she would talk to me about how she would have to tape the drains to her skin, and it would cause skin irritation, or she would have to pin them to the inside of her shirt,
Right.
which would, it was kind of giving her some limited mobility. And I remember her specifically talking about when she had to go to the bathroom and how she would have to prop these drains up on her forearms. And I just thought that was crazy. I mean, my mind was kind of blown. And she actually brought me what they gave her in the hospital a couple of days after we had this discussion about creating a product, for women with breast cancer. And I always describe it as I'm sitting there in my kitchen and I'm holding up this sort of look like a bra, and it sort of like a camisole, and I just describe it as something out of like 8th grade home ec. I don't even know if they have home ec anymore, but
Yeah, no, totally. They're so junky looking.
it's really, really bad. Granted, these are made by volunteers at the hospital. So, but I remember holding this up going, if my mom or my sister or my best friend or myself had my breast removed, no way would I be giving that to them, or no way would I put that on. So that was that was in the beginning of 2011. And that's what kind of just lit this fire in me to just see what was available out there. And when I realized after I was started doing market research for pretty much a whole year, I just felt like everything was drab and the same color and overpriced. And I say this a lot, but I felt like these manufacturers that were creating these products were focused on the sickness of the patient, and I wanted to focus on the wellness of the patient. So I wanted to create something that was beautiful and bold and they could wear before, during, and after recovery. So started with that one product because of my friend Wendy, and it has just expanded into a lot of other markets, not just for breast cancer patients, but diabetics and cosmetic surgery and open heart surgery. And then, yes, like you said before, we just launched our superhero robe. So
yeah, it's so awesome. I mean, I borrowed some of my guy friends' button-down shirts to pin my drains into. I've had 4 surgeries. I was lucky enough to only have drains with 1, but it really is, in my memory, it is one of the most uncomfortable parts. Like they tug and they pull, and if you don't have them attached exactly right, and it's just such a gross feeling. And I remember also just like not having anything that I felt good in. Like it hurt so much to get dressed and to put something on where you also felt gross, and it was just such a bummer. And I love that, I think that's where we really are so aligned, just in terms of thinking about that it's not about illness. It's about how can women and people and children feel their best in spite of all of these things, and not focus so much on having it Band-Aid colored, homemade,
right.
Like
Right.
really just, it doesn't do you, all of those things impact your state of mind, and that's such a huge part of your healing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So the state of mind has really, it wasn't necessarily what I was thinking of when I started this, but over the course of the years, I have talked to so many women, and not just women who are going through the surgery, but the caregivers who are taking care of these women, but just I mean, we're women, if we think we look good, then we feel good. And that the energy, that just kind of comes out. And so, what I kept hearing from so many women whenever I was doing all the market research was anything that they wore during recovery, they just wanted to burn.
Right.
I just thought, golly, I mean, I don't want to create something that somebody wants to burn. So, it was, I have heard so many stories of, women, they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s getting breast cancer, and they want something, especially whenever they're at home with their small children, they already don't have any hair, they don't have any eyelashes, they don't have any eyebrows, and they want something where it's shielding basically their kids from what's going on underneath.
Yeah.
And that helps their state of mind too. So I think it's a wonderful product that I'm very, very proud of, and I've had a lot of help bringing it to market. So I haven't just done it by myself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about you so much, just as an entrepreneur and business owner, is you're so honest and transparent about how much time it took and the learning and what works and what doesn't work, and your willingness to share that. I think I didn't expect that when I started a business, that I would connect with people who were like, let's just sit down and talk about all of the ways that I can help you avoid making the mistakes that I made. Mm-hmm. And it's been so rewarding. I think, I get off calls with women like you, and I feel so bolstered and enthusiastic about just the community and how far that stretches, and how people will, support each other in these ways that I never really considered or imagined possible, but make such a huge difference. And so, thank you for that too. Now, I guess, is it 8 years since you started? Mm-hmm. How many products do you have?
We have 9 products. That's not including our bundles that sell the best. Mm-hmm. But yes, we have 9 products. Now we're getting into, the children's line, just launched that in December. And so hopefully, we have plans of creating more products, not just for men, or not just for women, but for men as well.
Mhm.
And our belt that we have, that, you know, a lot of men use that. And as well as our pillow. Yeah, so we're going to create more products for kids that I have thoughts on, and then some products for men as well. So
Awesome. Do you want to tell us? I'll put the video for the kids robe in our stories after this, but do you want to tell a little bit about the inspiration for that? Because it's just so touching.
sure. So it's actually called the Elliot Super Hero Robe. It's named after a little girl here in Austin who I was introduced to around this time last year. I had actually been thinking of creating something for kids for a few years now, but I just didn't ever really know how to start the market research. I was so, you know, engulfed with the recovery side of things that it just didn't seem to make sense until I met a woman who talked to me about her son, who at the age of 2 months was diagnosed with leukemia and basically spent his entire 3 years of life at Dell Children's here in Austin. And she would talk to me. She was telling me about how her mom would have to sew little pockets inside of his onesies so you know his little port could fit in there. And then as he grew, they would have to makeshift, you know, these
Right.
products. My phone keeps going down.
Yeah.
um, so so anyway, she's talking to me about this, and again, it was one of those things, kind of like whenever Wendy was talking to me, you know, 9 years prior, it was like this, again, it was like this fire inside of me. And at the time, my son was 3. And so sitting there thinking about her son who passed at 3, I could not get that feeling out of me.
Mhm.
And so it was one of those things where it was like, I just couldn't stop thinking about it, drawing all the time, you know, trying to design what was it going to look like? What was it going to be? And so once I had a prototype, or I had a design in mind, this woman contacted me and said, "Hey, I know that you don't have, I know you only have one prototype," which my mother actually made. Um, she said, "You know, there's this little girl, her name is Elliot. Can you make her, can you find somebody to make her a prototype based on your design?" Because it takes a long time with my
Yeah.
family overseas to get, you know, to get the products and get the prototypes and go back and forth. So I found a seamstress here in Austin who agreed to make it because her son had passed as
Wow.
well, 5. And so I ended up meeting sweet little Elliot and her mom and her sister and her dog at a park with my kids, and you know we're all masked up, and along with the woman who introduced us, and I just, you know, I met Elliot, and I just loved her. You know, she's just this sweet innocent little soul, and but yet she's a kid, you know, she's running around with my son. So she was the one who received the first official kind of prototype. And I just agreed right then and there that I would name it the Elliot Superhero Robe. So she battled, at the time, she had stage 4 lung cancer. And I think it was in October or November of last year of 2020 that she beat it. So
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the video that you guys put together is so beautiful,
Thank you.
and her little spirit shines through. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, as someone who's talked to lots of different people in this space who make things that help cover ports, and there's just so many issues. If you really look at what the experience is for people going through it and people living through it after, really any kind of cancer or chronic illness or surgery, there's so much innovation that needs to be done for us to live through that well. And the design that you made is so smart, like that, you know, there's snaps and there's just so many different ways that it makes it less scary and it looks really cool. Like I can just imagine a kid with it on and thinking that it's like a really fun thing to wear, because then people can get to where they need to get to without, you know, disrupting their whole little self.
Yeah. And, you know, I wanted the kid I want the child to feel some sort of normalcy,
Mm.
and, feel like a kid, you know? I mean, I just like, I just, I can't imagine, you know, kids was in the hospital. I don't care if it was for a day. I would do
Yeah.
whatever, you know, to make them feel comfortable. And so a lot of these kids are there for weeks or months. And so we're actually doing a pilot program right now with Cook Children's, Fort Worth, Texas. They're doing a 3-month-long pilot program, and hopefully we'll be getting some pretty great feedback soon.
Awesome.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. We've had a lot of people who have, I mean, so many incredible people who have just gone onto the website. They don't know of a child specifically, but we have a brobekids.com, and there's a donation tab on there that you can, you know, you can donate $5 all the way, or $25 all the way up to $100, and it can go towards purchasing one of these, you know, robes for a child. And we actually have a list of, you know, that we kind of go down. We actually, over the weekend, I got 3 requests from parents saying, my daughter would love this, my son would love this. What can, you know, need help? And so that's whenever we go to the donor list and we go, okay, this one's going to go with this one. And so then we ship it out. And that's what we did a lot last week. We started that process, and it, you know, it's an awesome thing. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. So if people want to stay in touch with you, is Instagram the best? Is Facebook? Like what's a good way to keep tabs on you and all the great work you're doing?
So Instagram and Facebook. I thanks to my incredible social media marketing director expert, Erica, she's the one she is so on it as far as people who message us and following up with them. So that's really the best, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, thanks for the time today. It was really nice to see you again. I'm sure we'll be in touch, you know, in the coming weeks. I've got some updates for you anyway, but it was really lovely to hear more about the work, and we'll share on the feed, and then we'll put the video for the Elliot robe in the stories because I just love it so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.